What do you do if you're exceptionally good at slamming people on the ground so hard that they end up just staying there? Well, you lead the country in pins 3 years in a row, and then you come to Oklahoma State. That's what you do.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your first listen. We're available on all of your podcasting platforms, visually as well on YouTube. Find me personally on X at AllDayOState. Today, we're partially brought to you by LinkedIn. Today, the hiring can be a complete high-stakes wager. That's why LinkedIn Jobs finds you the right people faster for free. Post your job for free today at linkedin.com/lockedon. College terms and conditions apply. The terms and conditions are in for Oklahoma State wrestling. David Taylor's clearly making the announcement and setting the bar pretty high. The expectations at Oklahoma State wrestling are obviously huge, but nationally, I think a lot of people generally believe that Oklahoma State's going to take a few years under David Taylor to ascend to the heights that we hope to get to. Well, I think when you see guys like Wyatt Hendrickson coming to Oklahoma State, that is a very clear indication that the brand that he's promoting already is insanely exciting and people want to get on board. We know Wyatt Hendrickson, right, from watching him against Luke Serber or also watching him against Connor Doucette. He's number one in the country in falls, which pins. Out of like 84 matches, 53 of them were pins. He excels in dominating everybody else, and he had to choose between Michigan, who's supposed to have a phenomenal year. A lot of people are saying that if somebody's going to give Penn State a little bit more of a run this season, this upcoming season, it's going to be Michigan. So if he wanted to, slide in at an instantaneous opportunity to maybe have a shot at a national title, maybe he'd have gone Michigan, but he did not. He chose Oklahoma State even over Minnesota. When you want to go historically in wrestling, Minnesota does have some weight to throw around there. So Wyatt Hendrickson was visiting some of the who's of wrestling, and he ended up at Oklahoma State. And this is a big-time get. I think this is going to be huge for the development of Christian Carroll, and it's also going to be able to allow some more of this momentum to continue to trickle in. Just like, in basketball, there seems to be sometimes an identity. And I think there's an identity that you're seeing right here, right now with David Taylor when it comes to wrestling. And this is part of the whole mantra of what the expectation is at Oklahoma State. Now, he's already received a Don Henderson, Outstanding Wrestler Award winner. He's been one of the most dominant in the NCAA for years. And now he's going to be able to take his talents to Stillwater, Oklahoma. But not only that, right, we haven't really had much of an opportunity to talk about the 165-pounders because there was a wrestler from Penn State around the same weight that could have potentially come to Oklahoma State. But it seems as though Dean Hamiti and Caleb Fish are both going to battle it out for those spots. Dean Hamiti being a multi-time All-American at Wisconsin. Fish was a 3-year starter at Michigan State. Now, this, again, it lets people know that we're not going to go anywhere. When it comes to recruiting, we've always done pretty good at that. And I think another massive move here was keeping Tyler Caldwell on staff. We all know that Coleman Scott would have been great, right? That would have been like the assembling of the Avengers. But keeping Tyler Caldwell was instrumental, because he was the guy that really had some of these connections in the recruiting game. John Smith is a legend, right? Certified the GOAT of the game. But at the same time, he doesn't necessarily connect brand-wise with some of these younger guys. Tyler Caldwell was the guy that was kind of helping bridge that gap, right? Along with Chris Perry, and then obviously to some degree Coleman Scott. But keeping Tyler Caldwell allowed the relationships, like the one with Hendrickson, that was already marinating before we got David Taylor, to stay organic. And then when you get the announcement of David Taylor, obviously that allows you to kick things up another notch. So we're bringing in guys that are going to be able to be super competitive immediately, which should catapult Oklahoma State into the position of being more of a force wrestling game than we have been in recent memory. Now, I still am holding out a lot of hope for Andrew Alirez out of Northern Colorado. If you want to talk about the Avengers, right, this move here was obviously big in keeping Tyler Caldwell. But we've seen Thomas Gilman come in, right? We've seen Jimmy Kennedy already come in. And now you announce this move. Now you still have some capabilities to kind of, maneuver around a little bit more, especially since he's already named his recruiting coordinator as well, and Brian Pearsall. Brian Pearsall was teammates with him at Penn State and a 4-year starter and an NCAA champion with the Penn State Nittany Lions. So they go back quite a ways. They know each other from back then. And then Pearsall was on the wrestling staff at Army West Point. He was also with Rutgers there for a while as well. This is clearly the indication that maybe Hendrickson even needed to supplant the understanding that Oklahoma State is going to be a major player in the wrestling game right away. It's not going to take this 2-year, 3-year build-up type of thing. So the more as time drags on for Mr. Andrew Alirez, maybe it just means that it's more good news for Oklahoma State wrestling country. Because nationally, this is the talk of the town. David Taylor and the moves that he's making in Stillwater are the talk of the country, which is going to do nothing but do insane things from a recruiting perspective. It's all about being hot at the right time, getting hot at the right time, that style of thought processing. Well, now you're seeing this manifest itself in the transfer department. This isn't even necessarily taken into consideration what the actual recruiting can be. A place that doesn't struggle in recruiting now has the benefits that maybe we haven't had in a little while. Again, it's not a knock on John. Everybody in the game knows who John Smith is. But the relatability and everything to kids these days, it's going to shift. It's going to shift in a big way here with David Taylor. And I know you're here for it. I'm here for it. We're all pretty excited about it. This shows us what we could potentially be looking at this year. Could be a top 5, could be a top 3. And boy, howdy, if we're top 3 year one under David Taylor, Penn State and everybody else should be worried. We know Penn State's worried to some degree because they didn't want to see him leave. And this is why, right? The relationship that Tyler Caldwell and Chris Perry and everybody already started with Hendrickson allowed us to get here, but it wouldn't have mattered if David Taylor and his plan for Hendrickson's future in Stillwater wasn't put forth on display very, very well. Obviously it was. Super excited about it. Another thing that we're going to be excited about before we shift gears and talk about, again, getting hot at the right time is the hiring department. If you're hiring for a small business, you want to make sure you find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. They have all the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. It's not just your run-of-the-mill job board. They hire professionals that you can't find anywhere else. Even those who aren't actively searching for a new job might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're probably looking at the wrong place. 86% of small businesses agreed, and they get a qualified candidate within the first 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional by using the professional service of LinkedIn. Post your job for free today at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Again, that is linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Post your job today for free. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, getting hot at the right time. Well, this Big 12 sophomore tournament did not go well. Not only did it not go well, but I think we can all agree that it went pretty horrendously. So bad, in fact, that nobody really saw this one coming. But it was what it was, okay? We handed some stuff over to OU in Texas, and now we're out of that. But we had to have a big-time response, right? There's no way that you could get by without having a massive response in the Stillwater Regional, which we were able to do. And we did talk about how it wasn't necessarily Murderer's Row. It wasn't easy either, right? But it was definitely something that we should have been able to navigate, and we did just that. So now that that road has been knocked out, we get to say thank you to Leki Kilfoyl, who pretty much became the Cowgirls. She was the cowgirl of all cowgirls throughout the course of the regional, which is why she recently has been named in the finals, right? Top 3 for best college players in the country. The best softball players in America, right here. And we have one of them that, she could get it. She should get it. What Leki Kilfoyl was able to do over the weekend was preposterous, really. Right? She pitched 19 of the possible 21 innings, and she was dominant, right? At one point in time, she'd got everything rocking and rolling so good that she retired 17 batters in a row. Throughout the course of the weekend, she got on a run at one point in time where she retired 19 batters in a row. You and I both know that is insane, while also only giving up a handful of hits the entire weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, she pretty much was the one who threw on the Superman cape and performed the entire weekend, right? Leading us to a 6-0 victory over Northern Colorado, followed by a 6-2 victory over Kentucky, and then a 4-1 victory over Michigan to win the Stillwater Regional. This is precisely what you wanted to see. And Julian Poulard, I don't know what her final stat was, but her second home run yesterday was her 7th home run in her last 9 at-bats. The last 9 plate appearances, she had 7 home runs. So you want to talk about showing up when the lights come on and postseason is here. Julian Poulard did that. Leki Kilfoyl did that. And we have enough behind them. I mean, you look at Claire Tim moving over from left field to right field and immediately making a pretty wild ESPN level top 10 out of regulation play dive. The hitting is time. Rosie Davis had a very, very timely hit that scored in a couple of big time runs. And, Michigan's record was absolutely phenomenal. So it's not like they're not a good club. They're just not quite on our level. And it's a good thing that we were able to showcase that. Having Talon Edwards back in the lineup, even if she isn't, hitting as remarkably well as she was for most of the season. And I'm not saying she's not, but even if Talon Edwards is a little bit down, what she brings at third base is it's nuts. How she can play so close and then have the reaction time to make plays. I mean, that's why they call it the hot corner. But if you're just getting closer and closer and closer, there was a play that she made the other day where she came off of playing third, and by the time the ball was put down on the ground, she was picking it up pretty much in the pitcher circle. Like she had covered that much ground in just a span of 15 feet. So even if you're the fastest player in the country, with Talon Edwards at third, you don't have a lot of opportunities. We're set up for postseason because not only do you have a dominant pitching performance by Leki Kilfoyl, with the understanding, right, that you could go with Ivy Rosenberry and do very, very well, right? You do know that we have the hitting all the way up and down the lineup, whether it be Carly Godwin or, like we just mentioned, Talon Edwards. Rose hits. Julian Poulard can go yard whenever she wants to. Megan Bloodworth plays a vital role up and down that lineup. We needed to get hot because we ended the season with a loss after the series W's of OU in Texas. We ended the Bedlam series with a loss, and then we rolled that over kind of like a hangover into the Big 12 tournament, and we got bounced out immediately, which does not happen. But maybe that was a little bit of the gut check that we needed to kind of reel ourselves back in. And clearly, shout out to Coach Kerry Everly, there was a game plan coming into this regional in regards to Leki Kilfoyl. So therefore, you have more flexibility as the supers come to town. And now, with the super regional coming to town, we get a surprise. A lot of people had Oklahoma State, Arkansas pegged as the next matchup, but there's big time upset. So now we get to take on our future Big 12 brethren in the Lady Wildcats of Arizona. And Arizona is one of the original OGs, right? Original gangsters of softball, right? They're up there with the UCLAs of the world whenever you're talking historical relevance in this game. So just because they've been down for a little bit doesn't mean that they don't have enough firepower to make this thing interesting. Now, we thankfully avoided making things too interesting over the weekend by not allowing the if necessary game. We showed up, we went 3-0, took care of business. Super regionals, hopefully it's much of the same. 2 games, let's just get it out of the way, all right? Let's get it out of the way. Because what we're preparing for is not just another trip to Oklahoma City, but it's doing something in Oklahoma City. It's making a run. We're good enough to make a run at a national title, 100%. And we needed to see performances, not only offensively, but the fact that Leki could pitch every game like that's something we haven't seen this season. The rotation has been pretty remarkable. And throughout the course of the season, you thought it was a lead up to more of the rotational capabilities entering the postseason, but the postseason shows up, and it was Leki's show. And thank goodness she showed up. She showed out. She stood up and delivered, and it got us now in this position to take on Arizona. And Arizona, on paper, not as difficult to take care of as Arkansas. So we cannot take them lightly. We cannot, overlook them. But we will be ready. The fan base was ready, or at least the stands look like the fan base was ready. Guys, that is fun. That atmosphere that we have in Stillwater for softball, I don't want to say it's next to none, right? Because I have never seen anybody else's, but it's special. It's a special thing. Cannot wait till Coach Kenny Gayaski gets that stadium, right? That's the next thing that's got to go up. I don't care who dedicates the money or donates the money. I know Weiberg's wanting to take a, all hands on deck style of approach. That's cool. But the next thing needs to be the softball stadium. And yeah, it's been approved, right? There's renderings and everything, but the money hasn't been 100% put forth to break ground and make some stuff happen. I want that to happen. Speaking of softball getting hot, baseball decided to get hot as well. And we had some more Mother Nature crap pop up on us, and it is what it is. There's not a lot that can do about it. I was frustrated when Mother Nature popped up for the Cincinnati series because, I wanted the regular season title. So every single game mattered. Well, tornadoes showed up in Houston, so we had to play a wild, wacky doubleheader. And so basically we got robbed of a couple games at the end of the season in a very tight race. So it is what it is. We do lock down the 2 seed after absolutely dominating. If we wanted to have any conversations about getting the bats hot, well, those conversations kind of died down a little bit because we were precisely in the ballpark of staying hot. Well, or at least knocking them out of the ballpark, I guess you could say. We needed this kind of sign of life. And sure, you want to tip your cap to OU on ending or winning the regular season title on the way out the door. Sure, great, whatever. Bye. Let's not give them that satisfaction this go around. All right. Let's not let them have a good run in the Big 12 tournament. They get the 1 seed. We get the 2 seed after beating Houston 20-3 in baseball. It's not a football score. And then they beat them 9-2 as well. You'd like to think that we'd have probably got the sweep there, just like we'd have probably got the sweep against Texas Tech if the weather, didn't cause us some problems. This is us getting prepared for postseason play. And the beauty of where we are is the capability hasn't changed, right? The capabilities are all in front of us, and we do get that first round bye. OU does as well, them being the 1 seed. But we've had several times this season where we've showed glimpses of a team that is good enough to at least make a super, right? And that super needs to be in Stillwater. We need some things to happen, but the first thing we need to have happen is to take care of our own business in our own backyard. And in order to get the best seeding, winning the Big 12 tournament would definitely go a long way. Go a long way. All right. All right, before we skedaddle on off of here with some basketball, you already know we got to talk about the money-making station that is FanDuel. Guys, winner take all time is here. And FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home the biggest W of your year. Right now, new customers get $150 back in bonus bets with any $5 winning bet. So if you're a winner, okay, you get the 150 bones back in your wallet, in your pocket, off of $5 for player preds, money lines, point spreads, overs, unders, Heismans, who's going to cut down the nets, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon today to make every playoff shot count. Go to FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right. Congratulations, our main man, Doug Gottlieb. He's in the basketball coaching realm once again. Yeah, he does have some experience in Israel. He does have some experience in the AAU kind of California level circuit. Obviously, his brother is continuing the coaching after his dad established a very good coaching tree. And this is huge for Doug because a lot of Oklahoma State people have said, well, yeah, don't hire Doug Gottlieb because he doesn't have the experience. Well, now he's going to have the experience. And I have no doubt that even though it's University of Wisconsin-Green Bay, he's still going to be able to hire more than an adequate staff to go in and help them be very successful. And University of Wisconsin-Green Bay does have some success, especially in the sport of basketball, when you look back kind of over the time frame of the last 20, 30 years or so. So it's not like it's, completely bare ground there. He does have something to work with, and I do think that he's going to be successful. Congratulations to him. This is going to be great for him. So the next time around, people cannot say he doesn't have the experience. I think he's going to be very, very successful. Therefore, I don't think there's going to be an argument to be had in regards to, well, if he's going to be good enough or not. So hats off. Shout out to you, Doug. Congrats, brother, man. We'll have Doug on the show to talk about it at some point in time. But we also got to talk about the new dude in Stillwater for Cowboy basketball, which is Steve Lutz. Guys, we've had enough kind of come out to see the direction that we're going here, right? The direction that we're going for is tenacity. It's for the craziness on defense and work ethic and things that you can't really quantify on the stat sheet. That's kind of what we're looking for here. And then we add some more people over the week, throughout the course of the last week. The Xavier center, Abu Osman, commits to Oklahoma State. I may have said that wrong name incorrectly. Forgive me if I did. But size, we needed it. Well, we got it. Coming in at 6'10", 245 pounds. He is going to be able to help down low, right? With a block a game, that's what we need. Whenever you're talking about somebody who can go down and muddy the waters a little bit down low and still be able to put up 5, 6, 10 points a game, he can do that as well. Going from North Texas, where he was able to start immediately, averaging 10.2 points a game, almost 6 rebounds a game, he was able to transfer, right? Pick it up a notch, go to Xavier, and he's still able to average pretty good numbers there. Bringing him now to Oklahoma State as part of the 1,000 points club. He's almost in the 700 rebounds club. He was in the almost 50%, right? Field goal percentage. I think it was like 49.7 or something like that. He shot almost 60% from the foul line. For somebody that big, that's going to be helpful. Whenever you look at the Oklahoma State roster, we needed, a big presence, right? Robert Jennings is going to be good. Marcellus Avery is going to be good, but those guys aren't necessarily the big body beast that you're looking for whenever you're having to replace somebody like a Tyreek Smith. And then a Brandon Garrison the following year. And then we also brought in LaSalle, transfer Khalil Brantley, somebody who can put up buckets, averaging over 15 points a game. Another dude that's almost 6 rebounds a game, 4.2 assists a game. When you think of scoring, maybe this is the guy, right? Because recently, if you look at like Arturo Dean, the transfer from Florida International, he's not going to break the bank when it comes to putting up points. So you got to have some scorers. You got to have somebody that can help Bryce Thompson, even when there's times that Bryce Thompson might be a little bit streaky. He's had 20-point games. He's had 30-point games, 29-point games. He's had 14 rebound style of games, 12 rebound style of games. He's had games where he's gone off from deep. He's had games where he was able to facilitate more underneath. And being 6'1", 175 pounds, he plays bigger than he is, right? And once again, you can circle this thing back around to the tenacity, the defensive capabilities, the mindset that we're going to be bringing in is huge. And somebody did an article the other day. I want to say it was Zach Lancaster. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me type in here. Well, anywho, oh, there we go. All right. So when you look at the guys who left compared to the guys we have coming in, well, I guess it's not really a comparison, but just in general, numerically speaking, what are we losing as opposed to the guys that we have coming in? And it was pretty impressive. Now I can't find it. You got to be kidding me. Well, anywho, the article was talking about the points per game, the rebounds per game, assists per game, and percentages from shooting on the floor. And statistically, almost every single category went up, even if it was only minor, by like, half a percentage or something to that effect. But all of the statistical categories that you could list out, new guys coming in will have more points per game now. We'll have more rebounds per game now. We'll have more minutes per game now. We'll have more 3-point percentage versatility, I guess you could call it. Oh, here it is. I found it. All right. Points per game. Yeah, we go up almost 8 points a game. Rebounds per game, just a half a rebound a game, but it's still up. Assist a game goes up a decent amount. Steals per game goes up a little bit, just a couple. Turnovers per game. Let's see. Yeah, we'll grab some more turnovers a game, almost 9 to 10 more turnovers a game. Blocks per game. That's the only number that went down, and it only went down by 2. So we may not be blocking as many shots this year, but it's not like we were the greatest in the country at blocking shots this previous season, right? So what Steve Lutz is doing, it's clearly showing us the right picture. What David Taylor's doing, the right picture. Softball, Kenny Gajewski, not that we questioned the picture there, but it's looking a lot better now as we get set to host Arizona. Baseball, the bats came alive. We've got the pitching to do some stuff. Now it's some time to make it happen, and getting a first round bye is going to be pretty big time. Well, that's all we're going to have for this one right here. You know I love you. As always, God bless. Go Pokes. Thank you for tuning in to make this your first listen here in Locked On Oklahoma State. You could be anywhere, so happy you choose to be here. Like it if you like the daggone thing. Dislike it if you don't. That's okay, too. Most importantly, share, comment, subscribe. I'm podcasting people out there. You know what to do. Hit the reviews. All righty, y'all. Later, Tatters. I'm Stillwater bound, baby.